Welcome to HDTV. You're now rocking with your boy. Basically, man, they messing with my boy Strictly and I, man. My boy Strictly. Make sure y'all go to his page, Strictly Unapologetic. You know, young YouTuber, man, young bro. I be giving him a lot of talk, but he cool. But they're messing with us. They don't want the real at all. They do not want the real. Now, and I told them that's just what they do. When you speak the real, that's what happened. They destroy your page. They mess with you. All they want you to talk about all day is NBA, NFL, sports, or who shot this dude, or who killed this dude, or you got grams, or you gonna sell dope. That's what they have subjected our people, not only our people, the nation of people and our children. They mainly have our children thinking this is cool to do. That's why I said they want your kids to be gangster and thugs like the baby. And this ain't no shot. I listen to the baby's music. I'm cool with the baby. I feel like it's a travesty they trying to cancel him, but the baby needs to know when you have bosses that are a pink complexion, you can't say certain things. And some of your bosses are of the other side as well, which means they don't go straight, they go left and right. I mean, they go left. And it's usually a person who is the same as them, same gender. So my thing is this: we as the people have to and us as who's doing the videos, we have to come up with different ways to say things, to put words a certain way. Because if we say just what the thing is out there going on, we get blocked. Now, Arizona sues Biden's administration over the shot mandate. Arizona on Tuesday sued the Biden administration over President Biden's sweeping shot mandates that affect federal employees and private businesses with more than 100 employees. The first lawsuit against a policy that Republicans have slammed as an example of federal overreach. The federal government cannot force people to get the shot. The Biden administration is once again flouting our laws and presidents to push their radical agenda, Attorney General Mark Brnovich said in a statement. He sounds like he's from overseas, but whatever. Biden announced the measures last week, which require federal workers and private sector workers and businesses with more than 100 employees be taking the shot or take a test weekly as part of an action plan to combat the virus. Okay, so that's basically what's going on. And this is what's going on around. And Arizona stepping up. Arizona said, look, man, we ain't for that bullshit. This is how it is. You can't force people to do something. And that's how I feel. If you preach the land of the free, you preach freedom of speech, freedom of whatever. And yet, you're forcing people to take a shot. Right? Right? But see, you don't hear me though. Y'all don't hear me at all. The problem is that we have too many distractions that's keeping us from getting up off our ass and going out there to fight. Like me, where I work at, is basically my damn life. And then when I come and do YouTube videos, practically some more of my life. So if I was to like say, you know what, I need to get married and all this stuff, which is no time soon, but that person would have to work around my schedule. As vice versa, I would have to work around their schedule. But the thing is, I have a choice to do that. You understand where I'm going with this? I have a choice to say I can go outside, take a shit, or I could take a piss on the sidewalk. And that's my choice. Now, I'll have to deal with the consequences, which is I'll most likely go to jail for indecent disposure, flashing, things like that. I could go to jail. So we're not living in a land of the free. Land of the free is basically a marketing tool to make you believe that your black ass is free when you're not. To make you feel, if you're an immigrant, that you're free when you're not. But the thing is, the way they made the laws and the way they made everything, it's okay for an immigrant to come from overseas, get a loan, start from scratch, build up their businesses, build up their neighborhoods. They can do it as long as they work within the legality of the country. But us who live here as blacks, we can't ask for shit. If we even ask a question about the shot or anything, we're deemed unreliable. We're deemed stupid. Shout out to my brother Detroit T, because he made a perfect example. They're testing black. They want black people to take the shot mostly because we're the guinea pigs. We've been the guinea pigs since the Tuskegee incident where they were testing people. They've been testing people in Africa. They've been testing people all the time. They test us through the foods, through everything. Bill Clinton, hold on. I'm going to play what Bill Clinton said. And it's right under our noses. And shout out to Smackwater, man. Go to his Instagram. I don't know if he has a YouTube, but that nigga is funny. That nigga is funny as hell. That is facts, bro. I mess with him. Real nigga TV. Make sure you go on Instagram and go for his page. Okay, now they not letting me refresh and stuff. Okay. All right, they with the foolery. Okay. So basically, they've been doing stuff to our phones. Even Sino has been talking about it. They've been messing with our phones and stuff. See, now they talking about I can't refresh. Okay. Let me see if I can find it. All right. Here we go.
Point out that with us are many family members.
The radiation doses in the experiments we studied were usually low, and official and physicians who had the trust of the public and of their patients abused that trust. Patients were used as subjects of experiments without their knowledge or consent. Information was withheld from affected communities and from the public. Secrets were kept.
Delayla, Deputy Secretary of Veterans Affairs, Herschel Gober, and of course the Attorney General basically tries to get us all to do the right thing all the time. I want to thank Secretary O'Leary for her extraordinary devotion to this cause. And you heard in her remarks, basically, the way that she views this. It's a part of her ongoing commitment to finish the end of the Cold War. And perhaps no energy secretary has ever done as much as she has to be an advocate, whether it is for continued reforms within the Energy Department, and of course, they could trust the United States government to tell the truth and to do the right things. So you have to understand that for me, one reason this is so important is that I see it as part of our ongoing effort to give this government back to the American people. Senator Glenn's long effort to get Congress to apply to itself the same laws it imposes on the private sector. The restrictions that I imposed on members of my administration in high positions for lobbying for foreign governments. And when the lobby bill failed in the Congress, I just imposed it by executive order on members of the executive branch. All these efforts at political reform, it seems to me, are important. But none of these efforts can succeed unless people believe that they can rely on their government to tell them the truth and to do the right thing.
So you hear this bullshit? He's telling you to trust the government, but they've been running human radiation experiments unbeknownst to the public. Now think about today, the COVID the shot. Almost slipped up. Now, if you look at the shot today, what it does is they're mandating it that you have to get it done. And what I played this little excerpt was to let you know, even the lady who was on previously, she was talking about it. Okay? So the government has been lying to us in our face forever. Stop taking everything they say literally. The problem is people aren't asking questions and they don't want you to. They want you to stay stupid.
We have declassified thousands of government documents, files from the Second World War, the Cold War, President Kennedy's assassination. These actions are not only consistent with our national security, they are essential to advance our values. So, to me, that's what this is all about. And to all those who represent the families who have been involved in these incidents, let me say to you, I hope you feel that your government has kept its commitment to the American people to tell the truth and to do the right thing. We discovered soon after I entered office that with the specter of an atomic war looming like Armageddon, far nearer than it does today, the United States government actually did carry out on our citizens experiments involving radiation. That's when I ordered the creation of this committee. Dr. Faden and the others did a superb job. They enlisted many of our nation's most significant and important medical and scientific ethicists. They had to determine first whether experiments conducted or sponsored by our government between 1944 and 1974 met the ethical and scientific standards of that time and of our time.
This is talking about things like the Tuskegee syphilis experiment as well.
And then they had to see to it that our research today lives up to nothing less than our highest values and our most deeply held beliefs. From the beginning, it was obvious to me that this energetic committee was prepared to do its part. We declassified thousands of pages of documents. We gave committee members the keys to the government's doors, file cabinets, and safes. For the last year and a half, the only thing that stood between them and the truth were all the late nights and hard work they had to put in. This report I received today is a monumental document in more ways than one. But it is a very, very important piece.
And he's showing a book that says Advisory Committee on Human Radiation Experiment. So he's showing you in your face, this is what they're doing, but he's making a joke out of it. What's funny about this? This is what they're doing today, and this is why Arizona, I respect what they're doing. They're saying, look, we're going to sue you. We feel people shouldn't have to be forced to take the shot. And it's the truth.
Of America's history, and it will shape America's future in ways that will make us a more honorable, more successful, and more ethical country. What this committee learned, I would like to review today with a little more detail than Dr. Faden said, because I think it must be engraved on our national memory. Thousands of government-sponsored experiments did take place at hospitals, universities, and military bases around our nation. The goal was to understand the effects of radiation exposure on the human body. While most of the tests were ethical by any standards, some were unethical, not only by today's standards, but by the standards of the time in which they were conducted. They failed both the test of our national values and the test of humanity. In one scientist injected plutonium into 18 patients without their knowledge. In another, doctors exposed indigent cancer patients to excessive doses of radiation, a treatment from which it is virtually impossible that they could ever benefit. The report also demonstrates that these and other experiments were carried out on precisely those citizens who count most on the government for its help, the destitute and the gravely ill. But the dispossessed were not alone. Members of the military, precisely those on whom we and our government count most, they were also test subjects. Informed consent means your doctor tells you the risk of the treatment you are about to undergo. In too many cases, informed consent was withheld. Americans were kept in the dark about the effects of what was being done to them. The deception extended beyond the test subjects themselves to encompass their families and the American people as a whole. For these experiments were kept secret, and they were shrouded not for a compelling reason of national security, but for the simple fear of embarrassment, and that was wrong. Those who led the government when these decisions were made are no longer here to take responsibility for what they did. They're not here to apologize to the survivors, the family members of the communities whose lives were darkened by the shadow of the atom and these choices. So today, on behalf of another generation of American leaders and another generation of American citizens, the United States of America offers a sincere apology to those of our citizens who were subjected to these experiments, to their families, and to their communities. When the government does wrong, we have a moral responsibility to admit it. The duty we owe to one another to tell the truth and to protect our fellow citizens from excesses like these is one we can never walk away from. Our government failed in that duty, and it offers an apology to the survivors and their families, and to all the American people who must be able to rely upon the United States to keep its word, to tell the truth, and to do the right thing. We know there are moments when words alone are not enough. That's why I'm instructing my cabinet to use and build on these recommendations, to devise promptly a system of relief, including compensation that meets the standards of justice and conscience. When called for, we will work with Congress to serve the best needs of those who were harmed. Make no mistake, as the committee report says, there are circumstances where compensation is appropriate as a matter of ethics and principle. I am committed to seeing to it that the United States of America lives up to its responsibility. Our greatness is measured not only in how we so frequently do right, but also how we act when we know we've done the wrong thing, how we confront our mistakes, make our apologies, and take action. That's why this morning I signed an executive order instructing every arm and agency of our government that conducts, supports, or regulates research involving human beings to review immediately their procedures in light of the recommendations of this report. and the best knowledge and standards available today, and to report back to me by Christmas. I've also created a Bioethics Advisory Commission to supervise the process, to watch over all such research, and to see to it that never again do we stray from the basic values of protecting our people and being straight with them. The report I received today will not be left on a shelf to gather dust. Every one of its pages offers a lesson, and every lesson will be learned from these good people who put 1.5 years of their lives into the effort to set America straight. Medical and scientific progress depends upon learning about people's responses to new medicines, to new cutting-edge treatments. Without this kind of research, our children would still be dying from polio and other killers. Without responsible radiation research, we wouldn't be making the progress we are in the war on cancer. We have to continue to research, but there is a right way and a wrong way to do it. There are local citizens review boards. There are regulations that establish proper informed consent and ensure that experiments are conducted ethically. But in overseeing this necessary research, we must never relax our vigilance. The breathtaking advances in science and technology demand that we always keep our ethical watchlight burning. No matter how rapid the pace of change, it can never outrun our core convictions that have stood us so well as a nation for more than 200 years now, through many different scientific revolutions. I believe we will meet the test of our times, that as science and technology evolve, our ethical conscience will grow, not shrink. Informed consent, community right to know, our entire battery of essential human protections, all these grew up in response to the health and humanitarian crises of this 20th century. They are proof that we are equal to our challenges. Science is not ever simply objective. It emerges from the crucible of historical circumstances and personal experience. Times of crisis and fear can call forth bad science, even science we know in retrospect to be unethical. Let us remember the difficult years chronicled in this report and think about how good people could have done things that we know were wrong. Let these pages serve as an internal reminder to hold humility and moral accountability in higher esteem than we do the latest development in technology. Let us remember, too, that cynicism about government has roots in historical circumstances. Because of stonewallings and evasions in the past, times when a family member or a neighbor suffered an injustice and had nowhere to turn and couldn't even get the facts, some Americans lost faith in the promise of our democracy. Government was very powerful, but very far away and not trusted to be ethical. So today, by making ourselves accountable for the sins of the past, I hope more than anything else, we are laying the foundation stone for a new era. Good people like these members of Congress who have labored on this issue for a long time and have devoted their careers to trying to do the right thing and having people justifiably feel confidence in the work of their representatives. They will continue to work to see that we implement these recommendations. And under our watch, we will no longer hide the truth from our citizens. We will act as if all that we do will see the light of day. Nothing that happens in Washington will ever be more important in anyone's life affected by these experiments, perhaps, than these reports we issue today. But all of us as Americans will be better off because of the larger lesson we learned in this exercise and because of our continuing effort to demonstrate to our people that we can be faithful to their values. Thank you very much.
Now, this is why we don't trust you, Biden. Why is everything secrecy? You see, they want to force everybody to take it because it's an experiment to see who does well, who doesn't. Now, I agree with Judge Joe Brown when he says that, yeah, it's going to be some people who don't make it out of it. But that's the thing. Some people might not make it out, but what we would learn is how the effects would hurt them, but how it would affect or help other people. To me, I'm like this. What are trials for then? This is what I ask everybody. What are trials for? Why do we have trials? To test and see how the cure helps you. It really doesn't help you. All it is a basic placebo, damn near. Me, have I taken the shot? Yes, I have. Due to me being around multiple people on a daily basis, and I have older family members that I take care of. So I have to take the shot. But do you have to take it because I took it? No, it's your choice. And that's what people should be given the choice to do. If a person don't want to take it, don't force them to take the shit. But this is why we have a problem. You just heard Bill Clinton on that bullshit, up there double talking, up there lying. We're doing this to make sure that the American citizens are great. No, you're not. Because why don't you tell them who actually runs the country? That is 3 branches. That is more than one person. It's damn near 14, 15, probably more than that behind closed doors. But we only see your ass, so we're going to always go off on you. Arizona has a right to sue Biden, and Biden has been very disrespectful. Straight up. Trying to force this on people. And this is the guy y'all chose. This is y'all savior, right? This is y'all savior, right? Right? This is your guy. This is your man's. This is the guy who y'all throw your pom-poms up to. This is the guy who y'all give all this love to. And look what's happening. This is the guy who y'all trust. So it's okay to ask questions. All I'm saying is ask your questions. If you don't want to take it, be safe. Make sure you're following the procedures to stay healthy. But this is why, to all the pink folk, to everybody, why black people don't trust these motherfuckers, because they ran experiments on us ever since we've been on this land. Not when we got off a boat. We were already here. They brought some off a boat, but we were here. And they did everything in their power to test us, to run tests on us, and they did experiments on us then. So stop trying to tell us not to be skeptical. Thank you for listening. We out. Deezy.